On October the 28th, during an English ice hockey game between the Nottingham Panthers and the Sheffield Steelers, one of the players, Adam Johnson, tragically had his throat slit by one of the opposing players, Matt Petgrave, and tragically, subsequently, Adam Johnson died. This occurred in front of 8,000 horrified fans who have since been mourning the loss of Adam Johnson. There is video footage of the incident in question. I've not included it within this video because I don't wish to upset YouTube. I don't follow ice hockey, I'm no expert, but my layman's opinion from having watched the video just a couple of times is that Matt Petgrave from the Sheffield Steelers lifts his leg such that the blade of one of his ice skating boots makes contact with the throat, with the neck of Adam Johnson from the opposing team, Nottingham Panthers, and that causes Adam Johnson's neck to be slit. So one of the questions here is, was this an accident or was this an intentional act? And of course, there is an investigation ongoing enacted by the South Yorkshire Police. I'm not sure if the Ice Hockey League itself is also enacting an investigation. I would imagine it ought to. My take on it, again, as a layman, is that I feel that it is likely that the collision and the nature of the collision between Sheffield Steelers player Matt Petgrave and the victim, Adam Johnson from the Nottingham Panthers, my feeling is that it's likely that it was an intentional collision. Many people have since come to the defense of Matt Petgrave, claiming that it was a freak accident, but my opinion is that it could have been an intentional collision. This is a professional ice hockey player. They have control of the ice. They're not like you and I. We go on an icing rink with ice skate boots. We're all over the place, legs and arms going everywhere, but not the professionals. They know what they're doing. Matt Petgrave lifted his leg to a height that would reach Adam Johnson's throat. So to me, I would say that it's very likely that that was intentional. Certainly that's something that absolutely needs to be investigated by the South Yorkshire Police and by the English Ice Hockey Association. So we do hope that those investigations continue unimpeded and that justice is served. But the reason for this video is that more evidence has come out of a previous incident which occurred around 12 years ago involving Matt Petgrave. There's video of that incident which occurred 12 years ago in which we see Matt Petgrave throwing his left elbow and right trailing leg at an opposing player, sending the opposing player spiraling in the air, and he subsequently smacks to the ice, neck and upper back first. Thankfully, nobody was injured in that incident. These two incidences are similar really only because they appear to at least potentially be malicious, purposeful attacks on opposing players. I've never watched ice hockey. I've never been a fan. It's just not something I've been exposed to. But here and there we do see clips, and the only clips I've ever seen are the players fighting each other, taking off their gloves, maybe sometimes not even doing that, but beating 7 shades of poop out of each other. That's what they do. That seems to be a part of the game. Sure, there are penalties for that, I presume. There's a sin bin that they get sent to for a few minutes or whatever the case may be, but it's something that continues to occur, doesn't it? If you're a professional ice hockey player and you get into fisticuffs with another player, are you kicked out of the league? No. You're suspended, you're fine, but then you're allowed back to play the next week or whatever. What's my point here? I think my point is it relevant to acknowledge that violence does seem to be part of the game within ice hockey? And I would think, yes, it is relevant, but at the same time, it doesn't give Matt Petgrave a pass to be horrendously violent. If he indeed purposefully lift his leg such that it made contact with and subsequently slit the throat of Adam Johnson, that's not a part of the game. That's way and above, over and beyond. And he must be held accountable to that if it can be shown and proven that it was intentional. So again, I want the investigations to go ahead. And in my mind, and perhaps you'll disagree with this part, I feel that perhaps now's the time to reduce the violence within the game of ice hockey. If it has been institutionalized, if it has been enabled, accepted for players to go around beating each other up and hurting each other on purpose, perhaps that needs to stop at this point. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. I watch boxing. I've seen a little bit of MMA here and there, and these guys are extremely violent, of course. But at least boxers, MMA fighters know what they're getting into. They're playing by a set of rules which have been laid down. It seems to me, again, someone who's a layman, someone that's an outsider, very unknowledgeable about ice hockey, but it seems that there's an acceptance of breaking the rules. The rules are such that you're not supposed to go around maliciously hurting each other, but a lot of the players do. Soccer's gone through a period of being cleaned up for various reasons. Back in the 70s, it was a lot more violent, a lot more contact than it is now. Maybe those same revisions need to be applied to ice hockey. Have a no tolerance take on violence against opposing players. If it occurs, throw them out, kick them out of the clubs, kick them out of the teams. Sure, that will be a changing of the sport. Sure, the current supporters may not like it, but is it healthy to have such violence in a sport? Is it healthy to go around literally killing each other on the ice rink? No. Maybe I'm being a little bit melodramatic. Maybe we can say, well, hey, this was an accident. Well, hey, this doesn't normally happen. And maybe that's a pretty fair point to make, but I don't know. From my point of view, I think that there is the potential that this was a malicious act. I think this incident from 12 years ago does seem to indicate that Matt Petgrave has done this type of thing before, and I think it would be foolish and folly to classify Matt Petgrave as the only ice hockey player that goes around maliciously hurting or attempting to injure opposing team players. It's not just Matt Petgrave. So with that, perhaps more institutional changes need to be made. But I guess I've rambled a little bit too much there. Of course, full condolences to the family and friends of the victim. Adam Johnson, there he is, playing a ice hockey game. He's a professional ice hockey player, if I understand. He gets involved in a collision and his life is taken away. Adam did receive medical attention at the scene. CPR was performed on the ice. He was taken to hospital, but tragically he couldn't be saved. Of course, a stream of tributes have come in, not least from his girlfriend, Ryan Wolf, but many people from the local town, Sheffield, the local city. So I'm going to wrap things up at this point. If you appreciate the coverage, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit. If you're in a position to join my memberships, please do consider doing that. If not, that's perfectly fine. I'll thank you for your time. Take care.